Good evening to you. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. I'm Tiffany Murphy, live in our KFDM newsroom.
And I'm Greg Kerr, continuing to social distance. Well, developing right now, shocking information about the impact of COVID-19 in Beaumont. 2 nursing homes and Chick-fil-A considered coronavirus clusters because of the impact of COVID-19. KFDM's Angel San Juan covered today's city council meeting as Health Director Sherry Ulmer told council 5 residents of College Street Healthcare have died as a result of COVID-19. 21 residents and 6 employees tested positive. A joint strike force was created to respond to the nursing home April 11th due to the suspected presence of COVID-19. Ulmer also told council at a separate nursing home, Arden Place, 1 resident died and 9 patients, along with 1 staff member, tested positive. Ulmer tells council it's not getting better now. The trend of COVID-19 cases in Beaumont is on the increase, and she says there is a racial disparity with many more African Americans testing positive and dying. Councilman Odwin Samuel expressed his concern that only 1,200 of the 118,000 residents of Beaumont have been tested. Mayor Becky Ames urges caution as the state of Texas reopens in phases.
We're not saying you have to wear a mask, but if you go out in the public, grocery store, whatever, it's certainly not going to hurt to do that. And so we'd recommend that. And also if, we know that actually all, unfortunately, of the deaths that we've had in our area or in Beaumont jurisdiction, 15 of them, have all been people with underlying conditions. And so if you have that, if you have any diabetes or any type of condition that might cause your immune system to not be as good as it normally would be, then still stay at home.
Also developing from the council meeting, the mayor's brief visit to a closed nail salon drew a number of comments from citizens this afternoon. Ames didn't speak following an executive session today, but last Thursday she issued an apology for what she calls a lapse in judgment. Last Tuesday, Ames told KFDM she expected to pick up a solution at the nail bar off of Old Downland Road so she could take it home and soak off her powdered nails. She says she went in alone for just a few minutes so the owner could show her how to do it properly. Ames says they remained at least 6 feet apart and they each wore masks. Angel San Juan reports that during today's meeting, 1 citizen accused Ames of putting the nail salon in jeopardy and violating her own order by going to a salon when they're supposed to be closed. Now, the owner of On Stage Salon is defending Ames tonight, saying if she had asked him to provide salon services, he would have. Paul Trailer says if soaking nails is the worst thing in Beaumont, then he's proud of his city.
Well, heavy storms roll through southeast Texas and more are coming later on. Greg Bostwick joins us now with the first look at the forecast. How much later on can we expect these storms?
Probably pre-dawn hours, 3, 4, 5 a.m. in that general range. So we're going to be watching radar closely later tonight. Right now, though, things are fairly quiet. Lumberton, we're up on the weather network. Altus Lumberton Hospital, overcast skies there. Mauriceville Middle School, boy, they had a bunch of rain, about 3.5 inches of rain falling earlier. Sponsored by Swedes over there and Market Basket WeatherNet as well, 66. And rain is a little bit still falling here over eastern Chambers County up toward Nome, but the bulk of the thunderstorms have moved to the east for now. But boy, we had some big rains. You can see in the dark red areas, some of the rainfall amounts were very, very heavy. In spots, we had up to 1 inch or more in almost all areas, over 4 inches. And this little spot right there, about 8 inches. Now that's a little bit contaminated, we think, by some small hail, but 5, 6 inches of rain was very common over portions of Hardin County. You see the heavy ponding of water there in Hardin County earlier today. And as far as the severe weather risk, we are concerned about mainly damaging straight line wind. The hail and tornado risk is smaller, but this is going to have to watch, and that is in the pre-dawn hours. We'll keep a close eye on the radar later tonight.
Developing now, Orange County is wrapping up free testing ordered by the government. KFDM's Tan Radford reports how test results will help the reopening of the state.
Nearly 65 people register for COVID-19 testing at the Orange County Convention and Expo Center.
The governor has set the Texas Military Division is doing these tests all across the state of Texas over the next 10 to 12 days.
The government ordered testing comes at no cost.
That data is going to be used to help decide so that the state can help decide, like I said, when we go to opening up as a state. They're going to use it that way. They know what the infection rate, has a better number across it.
Those getting tested do not have to have symptoms of the virus.
What it is to get a better understanding of the number of people in particular counties that are infected as opposed to the ones that are just being tested.
The results are in within 2 to 5 days.
We're trying to get to 1% of all counties being tested. We're close. We ought to make it today with 1% of our county residents being tested at this point, and that's what the state was shooting for.
The testing is 1 day in each county, and all data used will help the state curb the virus and decrease the death toll from the pandemic. In Orange County, Tan Radford, KFDM 6 News.
Testing will take place in Jasper County tomorrow from 9 o'clock in the morning until 6. To register, call that number you see on your screen, 512-883-2400.
Tonight, while restaurants are gearing to reopen under the governor's new order, Southeast Texans have already started making reservations at least one well-known restaurant. Tonight, KFDM's Paige Hubbard spoke to the owner of Judice's 1927 to see how they are preparing to reopen.
This is going to be my first place to go.
After 8 weeks of being closed, Friday, this restaurant will finally be able to open its doors and serve customers inside. This comes after the governor's and county judges' orders forced it to close, except for pickup and delivery.
We're going to do things a step further than what the governor said.
Al Judice owns Judice's 1927 in Nederland. He says to be hyper vigilant, he and his staff are taking extra precautions to ensure the safety of everyone that enters the restaurant.
One of the things we're going to implement is that we are going to have temperature guns at the front door and like carnival wristbands.
If customers pass the temperature test, they will get wristband and then be seated as normal. The restaurant will operate on a first-come, first-served basis, and only 38 people will be seated at a time.
I'm hoping this is the beginning of them opening it up to, a larger percentage.
Judice says he's still allowing the use of silverware, but the restaurant has a sterilizing machine that will thoroughly clean the utensils each time they're used.
It's been a dream. It just seems like every 3 months something happens. We had a MILDA 3 months after we opened. We opened August 5th of last year. Like 3 months after that, TPC shut us down. We're within the 4-mile radius, and then now this. So it's been a challenge, but it's been fun.
His family has been in the restaurant business for 90 years, and he knows it has its ups and downs, but Judice is thankful for it all and understands it couldn't be done without an amazing staff.
Thank y'all so much.
Paige Hubbard, KFDM 6 News.
And right now, the restaurant will be open from 11 a.m. until 8 p.m. Then those hours will be extended once the restaurant can go to 50% capacity.
As part of the governor's plan to reopen Texas, churches and places of worship will soon be able to open their doors. KFDM's Rocio De La Fe reports what one Beaumont church is planning to do.
Governor Abbott has issued a new executive order to reopen Texas. Beginning May 1st, churches and other places of worship will be able to expand services while encouraging religious leaders to continue practicing social distancing.
I do believe it's important that our churches reopen because the worship experience contributes to the emotional and mental well-being of our community.
As part of Phase 1 of reopening the state, churches will be able to expand occupancy to 25%. Pastor Randy Felshaw at Cathedral of the Pines Church in Beaumont says in order to open its doors, worshipers can expect a few changes.
And so for us to reopen with that 25% rule, that means we can only have 300 people in here at a time. But if we're going to maintain the 6 feet between family units, then that breaks it down to 200 people at a time.
In addition, the church will ensure everyone's safety by offering masks at the door and sanitizing between each meeting.
As we come back as a church, we're going to encourage those that are 60 and above and that high-risk demographic to stay home. We're going to encourage those that have underlying health issues to stay home.
And in efforts to reach those unable to attend physically, the church will continue streaming online.
Even after the COVID-19 crisis is over, we will continue to do live streaming on Sunday mornings, but we're also looking at continuing with what we're doing on Wednesday nights.
In Beaumont, Rocio De La Fe, KFDM 6 News.
In a statement, the Catholic Diocese of Beaumont says it will meet to discuss safe ways to resume worship in churches. Bishop Curtis Guillory says resumption will be guided by the CDC, state, and local policies. Coming up on 6 News, even though businesses are allowed to reopen, some are still keeping their doors closed. Why they're choosing to do so.
And after widespread heavy rains earlier today, another round on the way.